Hi friends, it's Pastor Veronica here, sitting in my great-great-grandma's rocking chair with a special story time just for you. Tonight's story is in a really unique book. And so for tonight's story, I'm going to be reading you one story, and then the next time we're together, watch what happens. There's another story inside it. So tonight we're going to hear the story of Cotty-Doo. And then the next time we gather, we're going to hear Cricket. Pretty cool that those two stories are in one, huh? All right, are you ready? It's time to hear Cotty-Doo, written by Stephen Cosgrove and illustrated by Charles Reasoner. This book is a little bit longer than some of our other ones, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the text and then I'm going to show you the image on the page so you can look really closely at it. As you lay on a cool spring day in a warm and sunny place, don't look up into the skies. Instead, look down and squint your eyes. Squint your eyes so very tight, and if you look with all your might, you'll find the land of more than small, for in this land live bugs. That's all. Do you see who's hiding there? Look closely. Oh, let's see what we hear. Okay. The streets of Bugville were always empty in the early morning dawn. It was a time when all the streets were damp, and there was no sound save the occasional yip or yap from some bug's pet bark bug or the creaking of the clover tree. All quiet, no one awake, except a solitary figure driving a ramshackle, clanking wagon from house to house, picking up the garbage placed outside the night before. You see him? Before the bugs of Bugville even thought of crawling from under their warm dandelion down quilts, the garbage wagon would make its way south out of town a mile or two to a place where very few bugs went, let alone lived. The wisp of mist dipped and danced around strange and menacing piles of rubber tires here, tin cans there, garbage everywhere. For, you see, this was the Bugville dump. There it is, the Bugville dump. See, let me scoot a little closer so you can see the pictures even more. It was here that Litterbug and his family lived. They were no different from the other bugs who lived in Bugville, except that they did a job nobody else wanted to do, but that had to be done just the same. In the early morning's gloom, Litterbug would drive his wagon on his appointed rounds to pick up the refuse that had to be thrown away. There's Litterbug and his wagon. The Litterbug family wasn't large. It consisted of Old Man Litterbug, his wife Letty, and their young son Cotty-Doo. They lived in a small house at the edge of the dump so that Old Man Litterbug could be close to his work. Because they lived near the dump, which was a far fly from town, Cotty-Doo had to walk a long way to get to Buttonwood School. He could have ridden with his father, but Cootie was ashamed of what his dad did and would rather walk than be seen on the garbage wagon. See their house? So every morning he got up at the crack of dawn and sneaked into town so the other bugs wouldn't know where he lived. At school, none of the other student bugs knew what Cotty-Doo's dad did for a living. If anyone ever asked, Cootie would mumble this or that. Usually he avoided the question. One day on the playground, the garbage wagon slowly rolled by, and all the bugs laughed and chanted, "Garbage and junk, stink and stunk, Litterbug smells like a dirty old skunk." There he is on his way to school. The wagon creaked by the playground. Litterbug, with a tear in his eye, pretended to ignore the shouts. Sad to say, right in the middle of the gaggle of giggling kids was Cotty-Doo, chanting louder than all the rest. With the wagon gone and recess over, the bug kids filed back into school. "Hey, Cootie, what'd you say your dad did?" Glance shouted out. "Oh, he's, Cootie sweated out an answer. He owns his own business. Yeah, a big business, making stuff. The other bugs became interested, and Snug asked, what kind of stuff? See, there they are, chanting. That wasn't very nice, was it? Fortunately, Cootie was saved by the class bell. As it rang, he muttered, really neat stuff. Later, just as the school bell rang at the end of the class day and all the bugs escaped to home and play, the garbage wagon came creaking by again. To Cootie's horror, his father stopped the wagon and asked his son if he wanted a ride. Who? Me? Cootie asked. Are you talking to me? There he is. Yes, Cootie, I'm talking to you. Do you want to ride home, or would you rather walk with your friends? Cotty-Doo was so embarrassed that he ran as fast as his little bug legs could carry him into the clover forest. He ran and ran until he just ran out of breath and fell sobbing onto a pile of moss in a clearing. He lay there and cried until a voice broke his reverie. Hey-op! What seems to be the problem, little bug? Cootie wiped a blurry tear from his eye and looked around. There stood his dad. Do you think he's in trouble? Let's see what happens. With hands between his knees, Cooty-Doo told his dad the whole story. He even told him that he chanted the Junk Man song with the other bugs in the playground. You see, Dad, I want to be proud of you, but you're just the garbage man. With that, he once again broke into tears. Old Man Litterbug put his arm around his son and said, I could do something else. I could be a butcher or a baker or a lamplighter maker. But I like what I do, and what I do doesn't make me any better or any worse than I already am. There they are talking. The two of them talked as they walked into the evening's hush. Litterbug taught Cooty-Doo that no matter what you do in life, there's always something better. And no matter what any bug does, there will always be some bug who will make fun and not understand. There they are walking together. That very next day at school, when the bugs were at recess and the garbage wagon came rolling by, Cooty-Doo waved proudly at his dad as the other kids chanted their silly chant. The other bugs looked on in disbelief as Cooty-Doo, with head held high and with a smile wider than wide, said, That's my old man, best darn garbage man in the whole world. Here we go. If your father's a baker or just a garbage man true, think of this little story of a bug named Cooty-Doo. There they are. He's very proud of his daddy. And that is the end. And when you know, you can see how the next story is going to begin. We'll be reading that the next time we gather, and I hope that you really enjoyed tonight's story, Cooty-Doo, written by Stephen Cosgrove and illustrated by Charles Reasoner. And then I'll see you next time for the book on the other side. God loves you, and so do I. Good night, my friends.